While baseball fans heckle and cheer from the bleachers, and hockey fans press their faces to the glass, nothing compares to the up-close and personal vantage point fans have at NBA games. Some fans, the ones in the expensive seats, are literally on the floor. It makes for some funny and incredible moments, but it also opens the door for real confrontation between fans and players. LeBron James, the biggest star in the league, has had his fair share of both. Just this week in Atlanta, a situation occurred that epitomizes what might be best described as the love-hate dynamic between live fans and players. We haven't seen an incident like this for a while because of the ongoing pandemic, but after fans were ejected from the arena following a dust-up with James, he actually came to their defense in a post-game interview. Why? Let me explain. Sit back, relax, and take this in. Sports just haven't been the same since the pandemic locked fans out of stadiums and arenas. Even watching from home, it's easy to see the energy is missing from the building. James himself has mentioned this. When he and the Lakers were in the NBA bubble in Disney World, chasing his fourth NBA title void of fans, he said it was hard to gain extra motivation for the games. But on the contrary, players surely aren't missing the clownish behavior that is sometimes the end result of player-fan interactions, including racist remarks. Before the start of the 2019-2020 season, a group of a dozen NBA players held a conference call with the league to discuss what they believe to be one of the biggest problems in the game, fan behavior. Just the season before, fan ejections had more than doubled compared to the prior season. Russell Westbrook was involved in multiple instances with fans in Utah. One in the 2018 playoffs where a fan called him boy, and the other during a regular season where a shouting match ensued between the fan and him. The Jazz banned the fans in both instances, and Westbrook was fined $25,000 for threatening the fan involved. In 2019, the Celtics banned a fan for 2 years after DeMarcus Cousins accused him of calling him the N-word. Not all fan-player altercations are racially fueled though. Late in 2019, Isaiah Thomas was suspended for 2 games, and 2 Philly fans were banned for a year after the then Wizards guard entered the stands to confront the hecklers, who it turns out were motivated by a Frosty. And we don't have enough time to dig into the malice at the palace, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you look it up.
Let's Google it.
This is an ongoing problem, and it resurfaced again with this LeBron situation. On Monday night, when the Hawks hosted the Lakers, halfway through the fourth quarter, a fan named Chris Carlos got into a heated conversation with the 4-time MVP. Carlos's wife, Juliana, got involved, and this is what followed.
Executive of the Cavaliers that sent LeBron off in Cleveland.
This lady, wow.
The parties reportedly cussed each other out and a shouting match ensued before 4 fans were ejected from the game. Juliana could be seen with her mask off while yelling at James in violation of attendance rules.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Carlos's husband reportedly had a long-standing issue with the 4-time NBA champion, as evident by the photos he posted on Instagram in 2017 when LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers faced the Hawks in the NBA playoffs. Once the group was kicked out, Juliana took to Instagram to voice her frustrations, claiming that she was only sticking up for her husband. Meanwhile, LeBron also sent some shots her way, tweeting out "Courtside Karen" afterwards.
That's a pretty funny message.
For LeBron, that altercation only added fuel to the fire. He scored 9 of his 21 points following the incident in a Lakers win, and after the game, refused to let the incident bother him, saying he missed being able to interact with fans. This isn't the first time this season LeBron has had to use someone on the sidelines to motivate him in a game. Just a couple of weeks ago, when the Lakers faced LeBron's former team, the Cavaliers, James became inspired after a front office member of the Cavs clapped at him missing a shot. And in the same game, a 49-year-old man had to be kicked out for holding up t-shirts with offensive remarks and yelling profanities at James. LeBron answered back by scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter in a Lakers win. James has clearly been missing this fan interaction, which for a lot of NBA players has been a double-edged sword. Without fans, the game loses a lot of its intensity. Evidently, Juliana Carlos agrees. She since posted an apology on Instagram saying sports wouldn't be sports without a little trash talk. And that's why you saw LeBron question whether the Carloses should have been ejected in the first place. But it's also a very fine line. The players need the fans obviously need the players, but there's still clearly a lot of work to be done to keep the relationship respectful. So what do you think? How can the dynamic between the fans and the players be fixed? Or will it ever?